Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be making another Planet Coaster video where I start theming the queue and I pretty much start putting themes around the original castle. So I decided that I wasn't going to go for a pirate theme, but instead I was going to go for kind of a more colonial theme. And right here I'm actually putting these tall windows inside the windows of the round section because I think it makes it look pretty cool for what it is. And right here I pretty much started working on a bell tower actually on the top, but I couldn't get it to look right because no matter what I did, it pretty much just looked really clunky for the top of the castle. And I ended up just going with one of those cranes, and I put the colonial soldiers around it just to kind of give some movement in the building. Right here I realized that I'm gonna need to expand the path, and I start working on gardening around the building. And then I actually end up putting some path right in front of the gardening, and I'm taking some things from Silverette where I put in kind of the, I don't know what you would call it, the handrails, and then I put the lights in the handrails where they intersect just to make a more crisp look. Right here I was messing around with doors because I figured it would kind of make it look cool, and I'm coloring the track to be more of a dark color than what it was before to go with the scenery. Now right here is where I start working pretty quickly. I thought I was going to do a square courtyard, but then I looked at it and it looked really boring for what it was. So I actually take some of these walls back later and I start turning them so it's all kind of gone around the path. And I think it actually looks a lot better than these squares. You can see the issue I was having with it was I would end up having to do a lot of turns to make it kind of form around the path, and I didn't really want that look going on. See right here I'm just copying and pasting, and I don't know if you would call it terraforming, but it wouldn't be terraforming, but I think I made it look really good. I kind of hid the main entrance to the actual queue coming from the overflow queue, so that way it could be like in a real theme park you could just walk right on, but you can't do that in this game. You can't make it look like that. So I mean, I think it looks good for what it is. I start doing more rock work because I ended up not being able to get the terrain to actually come together in this section, which is kind of a letdown, but the rocks are fine too. I figured I'd actually put a fountain in the center just to kind of take up space in the courtyard so there was more to look at. And then I got inspiration from an old Reddit post, I'm not sure who, but they pretty much just put this rock or this mound of rocks in the center, and they put it on the fountain so it appeared as though the fountain or the water was coming out of the actual rock work, which I really like. I think it looks pretty good, and it definitely adds more to just what would have been the original round piece. Right here I'm just messing around with the water particles, and I decided I was gonna put this boat in and then actually have the water come out randomly of all the cannons. I thought it actually looked pretty cool, and it added some more to the fountain than what was there before. Right here I'm just putting more of these water jets in, and then from here I think I actually start working on a garden inside the courtyard, which I do. I really like it. Actually right here, see, here's where I put the boat hole in, and right here is where I start working on the main garden. But I do really like the way that this all turned out. I like how the center is more of like this kind of nature theme, and then the outside you'll see has the actual kind of castle theme with all of the special theming and everything that goes for the castle. Right here I was working on making the actual lampposts, and I was trying to think on how to do this, but I couldn't really find a good way except for this. If anyone knows another way to have good looking lamps for a theme like this, I would really appreciate just commenting and telling me what I could do better to it. I was having some issues too with the heights because of the way that this works with the terrain. It only let you go up and down half steps, which kind of made these uneven, but I didn't really mind. I think they looked fine. And then right here I do like I actually really like this exit. I really like the way that the lanterns kind of go down the exit and how curved it is. Right here, I'm just trying to make this kind of tunnel more centralized, just so it gives it more depth than what it had before. And I start working on the roof right here. I wanted it to kind of look, I don't know how to explain it. I wanted it to look as though it was actually accessible for just normal people to climb up on the roof, which is one thing that I think makes a really good Planet Coaster Park, is when you can kind of see it and imagine what it would be like in real life, or being able to have those backstage areas, which I don't see a lot of, which kind of shocked me. I know in Theme Parkitect, a lot of people actually ended up doing the whole backstage kind of view, which I really want to bring to this park, but it is really hard in Planet Coaster because we don't have staff yet. But once we have those and we start having worker paths, I think that'll really add to it. Right here, I'm just filling in this empty kind of hole, which is rocks. I'm not really sure what look I was going for. When I was making it, I was kind of thinking cannonball, but I ended up just filling up the hole on the inside with rocks. And what I wanted to do was take the empty parts of the station and fill them with scenery or something, just to make them look a little bit more full, especially when people are in it. Right here, I'm just putting in trees around, just to kind of, I guess, it kind of makes it seem more taller, more full when you're actually in the queue. I was just looking around trying to see. What I like doing is taking some of the shorter trees and putting them in the front, and then taking the taller trees and putting them in the back, because it actually adds more depth into it. Right here, I was actually trying to go with a way to cover up the really weird archway that they have it do with the yellow kind of roller coaster tracks. I think it kind of takes away from how it would look, but I couldn't really find a good way to do that. I'm currently just kind of experimenting with that, trying to find ways. Some more detailing back here, putting in a watchtower just to make the roof look less boring. Right here, I was looking for these AC units. I had a really hard time finding them. I thought they would have been in props, but they weren't. This is actually a part that I really like. I really like the lighting back here, and I tried to focus more on the actual pirate ship. And I put these lamps on the other side just so that way it wouldn't take away the view from the pirate ship. But I do really like the way that it turned out. One thing I do wish for in Planet Coaster, I wish that we had kind of a better lamp system, because currently the lamps, they only extend into like immediate area and they don't really go onto the ground. And one thing that they do a lot of times in theme parks is it's really, really well lit up. Like, you will see everything. And it's kind of hard to do that in Planet Coaster, especially with the spotlights. But I'm sure they're gonna start adding ways to change the lights and just change the intensity of them. I think that'll make the game look 10 times better than what it already does. Right here, I was just kind of messing around with the walls. It is gonna have to look good from the outside, so I was kind of trying to find a way to make the different angles come together. I think I found a good way, but let me know your guys' feedback, what I need to change, what I can work on and whatnot. Right here, here's where I start putting the path around the garden. I do really like the way that the garden turned out. I don't like the front garden though. I think the garden in front could use some work, especially. Right here, I'm putting these trees down on the bottom so it actually appears as though it's a larger forest than what it is, and you don't really see the launch tunnel that I had built, which is what I originally wanted to hide with a facade, but I'm gonna put a facade on the other side. Here's where I'm talking about with the actual fences that Silverite used. I was kind of copying what he did. I think they look really nice, and they look really nice in these kind of wooded areas for what they are. You can see you just use a chimney and then you put the light in on the top, and it kind of lights up your path, and at the same time it also kind of makes it look more clean because you're not noticing the height differences where the fences come together. right here, I believe, no, I didn't change the color. I was trying to kind of change where the path was for the actual queue, just so that way it could kind of look better. I rode the ride right here, and I'm not sure why, but it actually hit the top, which was really weird because it's never done that before. And right here, I decided I was going to have it slow down more before the actual launch, just so that way it would kind of be more tense leading up to the moment. I was trying to fill in some of this empty space in the actual station, which is what I was talking about with how empty the stations feel. And ultimately, I think it actually turned out really good. I'm going to continue with this whole kind of pirate theme around the area, and I have some pretty cool new things coming in later episodes that I think you guys are going to really enjoy.